Okay, we're back. I got this in my hand, so I'm sorry for any shakiness. I have a bit of a hand tremor. So I did a lot of grinding, as you can see. Quite a bit of grinding. Several hours of grinding, in fact, because of the the MIG welder. And it didn't have a whole lot of penetration, so a lot of them stood pretty proud. I don't know if I'm going to be able to focus on this. Let me try the non-autofocus, see if that'll... yeah, that's a whole lot better. Is there an auto switch here? I think it's on auto. Anyway, you probably can't see it. Maybe if I get the angle right, you can spot. There are a few places where I simply didn't weld the right spot. You know, I started off and then I went kind of at an angle and I went off the joint. Come on. Nope. There's a couple spots like that where this little corner piece that I put in, I put in a little too deep. So I added a lot of weld metal, but I missed a spot or two. There are some spots here on the corners where I need to add some more metal. So that's the story in general. Overall I'm very happy with the way it's turning out. But I need to do a little touch up. Here's a nice thing there. I'm gonna, as much as I can, there's a nice line right there where I missed. I just missed the joint where I was welding. And some places I'm afraid to grind more. Some places I ground, I don't know if you can see it, but it's not flat there anymore. It kind of curves over like that's a nice flat corner. This right here is a nice radius right there. So, and I'd like to go around to each side. This one's not bad actually, and make sure that when I ground them flat, and I am surprised how well I've done actually. So I'm going to go and grind grind these down quite a bit more, and then add more metal and grind, and try and get the handle off because it seems to be stuck. I don't know why, but it seems stuck on there. So I'm going to try and get that off, and then we will and I'll grind again. I need to get a lot of this mill scale off still. And then I'll come back when I feel like we're at a place where we can continue. My sister-in-law is working on getting me a template, like a stencil template, because I'd like to make it like real, like the movie prop. I know it's not, as nice, and I didn't put these lines here like we talked about in one of the videos. If I had to do it again, this outer piece and these two, I would make an inner piece and then a complete outer set of these three, make a slice here and a slice here, and then pull them out 1/4 of an inch. And have to cut off the ends because they would be too long then. But that would create that line, and then we would just fill in the little ends where it stops here and here. But aside from that, I would still like to have these engravings on all of these sides, and I still have to cut out the ring here. I think I'm going to make it 3.5 inches, and she's going to give me a stencil for that so we can use the electro something or another with the salt water, not engraving, but you know what it is. And we'll try that, so we'll do that together. And it will look nice anyway. It won't look exactly like the prop, but it'll look a whole lot better. And then for the second one, we'll take everything we learned here and make it a whole lot better. All right, so let me fix all my welding mistakes and do some grinding, and then we'll be back. All right, so we're back for just a second. I was able to get the handle out. So I filled in all of the welds that I thought, where I thought I could see the crack where they joined, and they have a nice little bit of porosity in some of them, which is always nice. God, that's cold. Some of them, these end pieces, a few of these end pieces, I need to double up. On the next one, we're going to double those. We may even make the end piece separate from the box and then apply it to the box, so that we can be sure that these are thicker. I ground so close to the edge that when I went to add a little weld metal, I burned right through. So I had to add a whole lot of weld metal to build it back up. So I have more grinding to do. I touched up every place I could find. All of these, so many of these burned through. So a TIG welder would have been so much better. But again, so I'm going to grind and then I'll come back. I don't know if you can see that. It is so cold out here. So I'm back. A lot of grinding later. I'm going to call good enough good enough. There's still a few spots that where my initial welds were really crappy. Sorry, my initial welds were really crappy, and it's battle worn is what I'm calling it. So I'm calling this done. At least this part of it. I don't know how to. Even the flap disc won't touch this. I don't know. What am I doing? Do I need a chisel? How do I get rid of that? The rest of it kind of is gone. Not really. So while I had the flap disc out, I cleaned this up. Not that we're going to leave it like this. Just hoping that it would fit. It does not. It's just over an inch, and the hole saw I had was an inch. So I guess I'm getting this bad boy out. Where is it? Sorry. This bad boy out with this is a carbide thingy, but I don't know if that or like a little sanding wheel. Probably a little sanding wheel for this inside hole. But that's the next step. And I was going to bring out the actual list, the sizes of everything, so you could have that. And of course, I did not. So anyway, it is too cold out here to stay. This is nice and warm now. So I'm going to take a break. The next step is to embiggen these holes and see, I don't know, pretend I'm sanding that off some more to try and get rid of that. And then my daughter-in-law is making me some stencils. I'm yelling. My daughter-in-law is making me some stencils. So I'm going to try and etch these eight surfaces with the pattern on the movie one. And I think that's the only thing that needs to be etched on there. I don't think the movie version has anything on any of these big flats, but I'll double check. Alright, so I'm going to get warm. I'm going to embiggen these holes so this slides in so it's not tight. And then we'll figure out, there's a little cap that goes here, or here. And then I need to figure out how I'm going to make this 3.5 inch. I guess I want it to be 1/4 inch thick. I don't think that, where's a piece of scrap? I don't think that, I don't know, is that thick enough? I think maybe 1/4 inch would be better. But let me weld 2 of them together, just a little piece of scrap, and we'll see which we prefer. This just looks a little thin for me. Oh, and she's also sending the template for the little runes up here that say whosoever, yada yada yada. So, all right, yeah. Okay, we're back. I'm done with the grinding. I'm done with the grinding. Next time, remind me to leave well enough alone. I had a few little lines where I could see the gap, where the two plates meet, and a couple little spots that I missed on the first welding, and it looked pretty good. These were all very consistent. These were consistent, and then I went to add more, and I burned through several of these. I had to add a ton more metal. In my second grind, I messed up some of these, so now it's, you know, wider on one end than the other. I should have just left it alone. It looked much better the first time. So, and I still cannot get rid of this mill scale. So, we need to cut a round piece for here. And from what I can see, in one place online, said measured the replica. The replica, he said, was 8.6 by 5.3 by 5.3, and this circle on the end was 3.5. So we're going to cut a 3.5 inch circle. I'm not exactly sure how. I think we're going to take this plasma cutter and we're going to go down to the basement and we're going to cut a circle out of 1/4 inch MDF, and we're going to see right here how far away the center of this tip is from the MDF, the edge of the MDF, and that will tell us what size circle we have to cut. It will be smaller than 3.5 because the plasma cutter obviously sticks out farther than the edge by, you know, looks like, I don't know, 3/16 of an inch. So I'll measure that and cut a circle. I don't know if you want to, probably you don't want to see me cut a circle on a scroll saw. So we're just going to, I'll come back when I have a circle cut out, or when I found something that is appropriately sized that will allow the plasma cutter to follow it around and give us a 3.5 inch circle. Alright, so I realize that some of you may actually want to see how we make this disc. So I took my calipers and I measured out 3 1/8, and that's 3.5 minus 3/8. So half of that is 1 9/16. So I set my little compass to 1 9/16. I made a circle. I had to make 2, as you can kind of see. Had to unsmallen it to make it a really 3.5. And so then I took it and I did it. It's my jewelry making bench here. I did it on a piece of MDF, 1/4 inch MDF. So there is our disc in MDF. Not perfect, but you know, nobody's measuring it. I took a file to it and cleaned it up a little bit. I stayed outside the line as much as I could and then filed to the line. And then, how am I going to hold it onto the steel plate while I run the plasma cutter around? So I can hold it with my finger, but I can't then run the plasma cutter all the way around. And in my experience, it will move. When I move my finger, it will move. And I will put it back down again, and I will start up with the plasma cutter, and it will not be in the same place. And I will not have a circle, I will have something other than a circle. So I decided to get a Forstner bit here and drill a 3/4 inch hole in the center where the hole from the compass was, and we are going to insert this little rare earth magnet 3/4 of an inch, and we might hot melt glue it or something like that, and that should be enough. The pull of this should be enough to hold it onto the plate while we cut it. I'm going to try my best not to exert any sideways pressure with the plasma cutter, and I hope that does it. Alright, so that's where I am. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that magnet in there, and then we'll... So while we're waiting for the hot melt glue to melt, and when I show off some of the jewelry that I make down here that I sell on Etsy, I make things out of ebony, and some cocobolo, and some mango wood, and some monkey pod, and Goncalo alves, and I'm happy with most of it. There's some things that I take out of the mix because I'm not happy with them. But a lot of the things I'm pretty happy with how they came out. So that's what I make down here in the wood shop. These are some of my favorites. These Arwen Evenstar things. They're very difficult to make without breaking, especially the smaller size earrings. But I think in ebony they look really, really nice. I don't know if that's in focus or not, but I really like them. So I've made quite a few of them in different woods. So if you see anything you like, yeah, you know where to find me. Alright, so we are back in the garage. We are so lucky that it is warmer today. Not warm, but warmer. So here's our disc with the magnet embedded in it, so that we don't have to have our finger there trying to go around and messing it up. It's going to be somewhere like that. It's not staying where I'd like it, but that's okay. From what I could see on the replicas that people had purchased, it was about 1/2 inch on either side. So I feel like that's about the right size. And I think 1/4 inch is about the right thickness. I don't have any 1/4 inch steel, so we are going to cut 2 of them and put them together, I think. I'm not sure what else to do. I mean, I'll cut 2 and put 1 on there, but I think 1/8 is going to be too thin. That's what I think. So I'm going to put this down on my sheet steel over here, on my there. I will not show you the plasma cutting because all you'll see is a really bright light. And I will come back when I have it cut. Oh, and the compressor is so loud that you won't be able to hear or pay attention, and you'll just turn it off. So there you go.